What is the crack, YouTubers? Welcome to another episode of Two Bald Knobs. It's myself, Scarnier.
And myself, Six Bus Stevo. How are we doing, guys?
We've an interesting one today. We've got our Ghazghkull special. I see there's quite a few of them are piling up in the chat section already of the live stream.
Yeah, there's a few people in there. I see the chat going. I do apologise, guys. There's some few technical little difficulties and things we were working through. The live YouTube is always fun, always full of risks and pitfalls.
Yeah, the Grots needed a good kicking beforehand.
But
you know
we
yourself.
are here now. So yes, here we go. Yeah, Ghazghkull special. I thought it was time we did this for obvious reasons. The big boy's on his way, and it's. I don't know about you, mate, but I am buzzing more for this Saga of the Beast than October.
Oh, definitely.
Easily.
Yeah.
Oh, it's already it's smashed October. This is like the true October in March, like, you know, a long time later. And yesterday's news was amazing as well, to see that it's not just Ghazghkull we're getting, which is just incredible.
Yeah, we've got Macari coming in, and there's a good few. It's good. Like, this is, I think they finally learned how to build a hype train properly, because they've been set this one like full steam ahead. But like, the Ghazghkull miniature is absolutely cracking. I think the majority of people as well like the new Ghazghkull mini. I'm not seeing, you know, sometimes there might be something new.
I've seen a couple of people. Someone only commented earlier saying that his gun was too big. And I've had lots of people commenting that it's too small. Can you believe?
I love it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's always a matter of taste, isn't it? But
I'd say the majority of people are happy.
I think you can never please all the people all the time, but I think GW have done as good a job as anyone could expect anyone to do. I think like 98% of the Orc boys out there are pleased with the new Gaz. I mean, I just think he looks incredible. He looks absolutely stunning. And I can't wait to get my hands on him and build him and paint him and just stare lovingly at him. He looks incredible. It's so good. And so overdue, man. So overdue.
What is it, like 2000? Was it when?
Yeah, it's like 20 years. It's got to be near to like 20-year anniversary. It's got to be. It was Codex Armageddon.
Yeah. So that would have been,
was, I believe, 2001, maybe. It's around that sort of time. 2000, I think.
99, something like that.
And yeah, it's just. It's awesome. It's awesome, and it looks like the rumors of the box set are true as well. And you know, we haven't got 100% confirmation of that yet, but it certainly seems as close to as confirmation as you can get with the picture they showed with Gaz and Ragnar and their, you know, Ragnar's Primaris Marines with him, and we look like we're getting some knobs and mega knobs with him, and Macari thrown in, which is cool.
It's what we'd expect, though, you know. You'd expect Ghazghkull to have his bully boys with him. That's his retinue, like. So as soon as I heard we're getting a box set, I was like, there's gonna be some knobs in there somewhere. You know what I mean? It would have been odd if they didn't put knobs in with Ghazghkull, but like you said, it's not 100% yet. You know, but it pretty much looks like it. There's that one image you're on about.
I think that image looks like the image that's going to be on the back of the box, isn't it? It looks like the back of the box. This is what you get in the set, you know. And it looks cool. It looks like a really cool set to get. The fact that we get it is, we spoke about it before on your live stream, saying how knobs are kind of, everyone's got hundreds of knobs at this stage because they come in start collecting set. And they're one of the cheaper sets to get.
Yeah, it's true. There's loads of them.
I've got tons of them still on the sprue, you know, but it's a cool set with loads of bits and stuff. I use it to make, you can use those to make mechs and all sorts of stuff, and they interchange with the mega knobs really nicely. All the heads are fully compatible, so there'll be a lot you can do with this set, which is cool. And I'm pleased that they haven't changed the mega knobs at all, because I really like the kit.
Now the Mega NOBZ kits, it's what is it, 2014, I think.
Yeah, it's not an old set at all, is it? Not
Well,
in the
it
grand
depends
scheme of things.
what old is relative to you. I suppose if
Yeah,
you've been in the hobby only a couple of years, you're like, oh my god, it's ancient. But it's like Ghazi was 20 years old, mate. So it's like,
yeah. And some people think that just being old means it has to be updated, and that's not necessarily true, because some kits look as good today and hold up as good today as well as they ever did. And I don't think you need to update just, oh, it's 10 years old now, we have to update it, and it would be a bit annoying if they started updating kits that no one was asking for, when there's still things like the metal Deathcopter and some really old knackered kits that desperately need updating. Questions would be asked then.
Definitely, yeah. That Deathcopter you're on about, the metal one, goes back to Gork and Warka. That's how old that is. That's a special character from Gork and Warka.
It looks shit then. It's just so bad.
Well, each to their own.
Some people like it, but
I think it's characterful, but I don't really think it sort of sits in the 40k sort of aesthetic that we have now.
No.
But in Gork and Warka, it looks good. But like the war buggies, man, I always thought they looked naff. I thought the drivers off the war buggies always looked naff.
Yeah, definitely. I think the buggies themselves look all right, but it's opposite to that Deathcopter as well, because I like the pilot in that Deathcopter. I think he looks quite cool. It's just the actual Deathcopter itself.
The vehicle itself,
It looks like it's someone's like first go at making a scratch-built thing out of plastic cards. Just practice little box, stick an orc in it. Propellers. It's I don't know. It's just bad.
It's just your cup of tea at all.
No, it's aged really poorly.
There's that image we were on about, by the way. That box set image.
Yeah.
I'll just try and sort that out so it's not just
all its tasty, gorgeous goodness. Oh yeah, looks awesome, man. Looks awesome. Makari looks great as well. And,
front and center, yeah. But yeah, I see what you mean about the knobs. It's like, because your boy Uruk Face Ripper, he comes with knobs. Like most box sets, they seem to. It's a good kit though. I'll say that.
It's a great kit in terms of value for money. It's one of the best kits out there, because it's one of our cheapest sets to get as well. And I think that's another reason why they throw it in, because it's a nice cheap set that they can toss in.
Nice bit of filler, yeah.
And it's great that Mega NOBZ come in a set like this, because, like I say, these sets always save you a bit of money, so it gives you a cheaper way. Kind of, you still have to spend a fuckload of money to get your hands on this box set.
Well,
we haven't got a price on it
That's
yet.
what I mean. Like, so what are we thinking price wise? Like, what was the last one? Because I know the Eldar, Eldar box set was
about
stupid.
40 quid on their own, aren't they?
Yeah, Mega NOBZ are nearly €50 over here, and then we don't know Ghazghkull. Ghazghkull might be about 40 or.
Well, the knobs and the Mega NOBZ, if you were just to buy them separately now, would set you back about 60 quid. Ghazghkull, we've got no idea on his price yet, and we won't either, because he won't be available separately until 6 months later. We suspect it's highly, highly unlikely that he will be available individually, because they always do this, don't they? They do like a timed exclusive. They'll be only available in this set for a while, and then about 6 months down the line, then they'll come out separately. Which I know some people have had issue with. Some people saying, "No, I don't want the Space Wolf stuff." Or I don't want the knobs, and I just want Ghazghkull. I just want to be able to buy him, and I get that. So I guess then you just have the choice. You either buy this set, sell off all the stuff, or go halves with someone, or trade, or whatever.
Do a swap, so yes, sell or swap is your option, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I understand what you're saying about like the timed exclusives, but have they done it with special characters before? This is the thing. Like normally, timed exclusives are like.
They did it with Forgebane. So Forgebane came with, it wasn't a named character, but you got the new Cryptek in there and the Armiger Knights, and it was a good few months before they came out separately. I know they did it. I know this stuff in the Elder box set. I can't even remember what was in it, but that stuff's just become available separately. And I think that may have had special characters in that one actually.
I'm sure the comment section will correct us if we get anything wrong. But yeah, it depends on the price point. If Ghazghkull is sold separately and this box set is crazy overpriced, I'd just buy Ghazghkull and Makari.
Hmm.
I expect the two of them will come into one box. I'd be surprised if Ghazghkull and Macari don't come into one box.
I'll tell you what though. I'll tell you what. If you were to buy this set, if you only wanted like Gaz and Macari, and you bought this set and then you sold off everything else in the box on eBay separately, you would actually probably end up getting Ghazghkull for cheaper than he will cost separately.
Probably.
Because, like I say, you save some money on these sets. And if you're selling Ragnar Blackmane on eBay and it's the only way they can get him off this set, there's going to be a lot of people searching eBay for a lone Ghazghkull or a lone Ragnar Blackmane. And the Marines will sell because Marines always sell because they're the most popular army.
What they're like what, infiltrators or something? You get 10 of them.
Yeah.
I don't know, because they come in like the starter box sets and stuff. You know what I mean? I wish the Space Wolf stuff was something more in demand.
Ones, though, they're multi-part ones, so they're not like the ones that you get in the normal game where you get the easy build ones, which is what I think you get in the like the first strike and all that. It's the easy build jobbies, isn't it? So these are the multi-part ones. I'm pretty sure. And so, yeah, all the GW and stuff doesn't really lose its value. You know, I've sold stuff on eBay, as I'm sure a lot of people have, and traded and stuff. And it's the one bad side is that GW stuff is expensive, but the other good side is that none of this stuff ever really seems to lose its value. And you always seem to be able to, you know, get good money when you sell things online, or, you know, or trade and stuff. So, yeah, it means a little bit more of an initial outlay. It means a bit of your time and effort having to list stuff on eBay or talk to people and trade and swap and sell or whatever. But it is what it is, and we know what to expect with GW now. And with these timed exclusives, it always happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We have a few people banging on that they want us to talk about lore. Lore-wise,
yeah. Well, where do you want us to begin? I wanted to talk about actually. I want to talk about his stats because if we look, I'll get this out there. So I've got a second edition Orc Codex here. And I just want to find his stats in here and talk about them because, my God, he had, in second edition, geez, he had some special rules. So I really want to know what his rules are at the moment. I can't wait to. I'm checking Warhammer community all the time for like some leaks and sneak peeks at his stats, what his special rules are. I want to know what those weapons do. I want to know what Mork's Roar does. I want to know what his aura abilities are. I want to know it all. I'm desperate for information. I was gutted today to look on Warhammer community and see no more Orc news, which was disappointing. But
it's that drip feed, man. Just a little bit, keep you hooked, just enough to keep you hooked, just a little.
Bait us, don't they? But yeah, I'll go. So a little bit of Ghazghkull history here in terms of his stats and special rules. So in second edition, his special rules. Once per game, Ghazghkull may call on the Orc gods Mork and Gork to invoke the power of the War. He may do this at any time, including his opponent's turn. As soon as Ghazghkull calls on the power of the War, any fleeing Orc models immediately rally. For the remainder of the turn and all of the following turn, Ghazghkull is immune to any damage. He cannot be harmed in any way at all. And all Orcs, including Ghazghkull himself, receive a +1 modifier in hand-to-hand combat. Jeez, man. I wonder if they'll give us a rule like that. He is immune to any damage for 2 turns. I doubt that will happen, but yeah, I just thought that was interesting to bring that to people that may not be aware of that or may have forgotten just how powerful he was back then.
When the old kids talk about the good old times, this is what they're on about.
Yeah, and it's just that is crazy in it, and I know. Later on in, I think, 3rd and 4th edition, when he called on his War, he received a 2+ invulnerable save for like the 1 turn during the War. But that I was never aware of this until I just read it the other day when I was making my sort of Ghazghkull history video, and I was like, shit me, that is just ridiculous. But second edition was absolutely ludicrous.
It's crazy,
yeah. I mean, I know loads of people just have such fond memories of second edition. Some of the, you know, it's a little bit before my time, really, but it's for all. I think there's a lot of rose-tinted glasses because there's a lot to love about second edition. But people talk about balance today. There was no balance in second edition, like at all. Like the rules are, for various characters and things, are just insane. And that's just a prime example. Literally, for 2 turns, you just can't hurt him. Whatever you do, nothing hurts him. It's just literally, he can't be killed at all. Nothing. No
just ignore him.
Wounds,
Just forget about him. He'd be grand.
Nothing. She's just insane. So yeah, I doubt he's going to get rules like that. But yeah, it's. But yeah, in terms of lore, again, I see a lot of people are quite upset that the box set isn't him versus Commissar Yarrick, because obviously
that would have been cool. Yeah,
that would have been very cool actually. To have him with Imperial Guard and Yarrick and stuff, that would have been really nice.
They did Imperial Guard in the Tau and the Gene Stealer cultists, didn't they? Because they normally do 3 factions in this Psychic Awakening. So I think that would have been ideal actually if they had have done our Psychic Awakening with the Imperial Guard, and if they had given Yarrick a new sculpt, because Yarrick's sculpt is as old as our Ghazghkull one, I think, is it? Or did he get an updated one? He had a.
I think he had an updated one. I'm pretty sure he did actually.
Yeah, I think they've gone through the same eras, because there's the really old school Yarrick, which has like the crab claw.
That's right.
The mad one. That's like the second.
I don't know. Maybe that modern one was. Oh, I don't know. That's
War of Armageddon. Yeah, I think it would be
his most famous rivalry, isn't it? I know he's had rivalries with like Belial, and I forget the names. One of the dudes from the Black Templars. As this set was at the beginning, this set was rumored to be Orcs versus Black Templars, and I don't know if maybe that was in the.
It's not Grand Marshal Helbrick.
That's it. Yeah. That's the one. Which is in the I think that's in the novel, the Armageddon novel, I think, which I've got, but I'm only a couple of chapters into reading that book. But yeah, it's that would have been cool. But I think Ragnar's a pretty good opponent. I know some people are saying he's not, and he's kind of a bit beneath Gaz, which I'd agree with, but I'd agree with that of anyone. But I don't know. I think he's kind of a worthy opponent, really, to sort of go toe-to-toe with him, as long as he doesn't win.
Well, he's earned respect. You know what I mean? That's the important thing. Once it takes a lot to earn respect from Gaz.
But yeah, Gazzy's lore is cool, and Gazzy's lore is cool. So what he started off as an orc boy. He was shot in the head. This is a very brief rundown of his lore and history, guys. He was shot in the head by a bolter round, which ripped out half of his brain cavity, and he would have been pretty much left for dead had a enterprising young Death Skull by the name of Mad Doc Grotznik not found him and patched him up, and with a cybernetic adamantium skull, and then from that moment onwards, Ghazghkull started getting visions and messages from Mork, and whether this is just a side effect of half of his brain being missing and zapped in with cybernetics and stuff, or whether he genuinely is receiving messages from Gork and Mork, and he is the prophet of the War. But yeah, and ever since then, he's been an absolute. He from that point, he started wiping out all the other Orc war bosses and dominating them, and took over the entire planet. And then the sun started dying of that planet, and he said to everyone that it was a sign from Gork and Mork that they were to go off and conquest the galaxy and stuff. And he was quite the public speaker, and all the orcs rallied to his cause. And yeah, he's been off kicking ass across the Imperium ever since.
2 wars on Armageddon.
2 wars on Armageddon. He's been fighting the Tyranids, which the Imperium were quite pleased with for a while. They thought, this is good. The Orcs and the Tyranids are going to essentially wipe each other out and keep each other busy. But I think that's worked against them massively, because Tyranids and Orcs both thrive off this, both got stronger, basically. So it's by leaving them to their own devices, they've created a far bigger problem. And then now he's appearing all over the galaxy with the Cicatrix Maledictum and the Warp Rifter, whether that's having some effect on it or something, or whether he's got some new technology, some crazy teleport technology. He has been sighted all over the galaxy in places where it's impossible that he could be in several places at the same time, or couldn't travel those sort of distances within that time. and so there's lots of unknown basically in how he's doing this, or if these reports are true or what. But yeah, that's kind of where we are now. But
the latest stuff, what we've gotten so far with this release and why he's so big isn't Ragnar has chopped his head off.
Yes.
And it's been reattached, and then he's being rebuilt as well by Mad Doc Grotznik. So if you're wondering why there's a massive size increase, it's because it literally looks like he's being put back together. Ragnar got a bit hot-headed and pretty much nearly died, but the plot armor saved him, and he got Primaris. Yeah. And they've reattached Gazzy's head, and now Gazzy's bigger and more improved and ready to kick some arse.
Which I love that they show on the miniature. When I did the video, the sort of reaction video of seeing Gaz, I didn't mention that bit, but when you see the close-up of his head, you see the stitches where they literally he's stitched their head on, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I know a lot of people are talking as well now, because there's a lot of talk of Mad Doc Grotznik, because obviously whenever you talk about Gaz, the Mad Doc's not far behind, and he... a lot of people have speculated on this new rumor engine that possibly this pole arm of this kill saw image could be something to do with Mad Doc. Personally, I don't think it is, but it's possible. Anything's possible at this stage.
This one you're on about. Yeah, that image.
Yes.
It depends. I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, it could be like kind of orky, but something is telling me that it's might be Necromunda, because there's a lot of Necromunda stuff that have like pole arms and all this weird sort of stuff. I can get where you're coming from. It looks like the bottom of some of the big choppers, the huge choppers off the knob sets. They have a little tiny spore like that, but I think this might be Necromunda, is my thinking. What it may be.
I just hope that's not true, and I don't think it is personally. I really think this is Orky. It looks very similar, incredibly similar to like one of the Killer Khan's Dreadsaws or the Death Dreads Dreadsaws. And even the wrapping of the sort of the bandages or the leather straps of the haft itself, that's very Orky as well.
Yeah, it is. It could be. It could go either way. It really could. But I don't know. Maybe because I thought that the backpack for Ghazghkull was a bit clean, so maybe they're going for more of a cleaner sort of aesthetic with the Orc stuff.
Also, they do like to throw us off. So they do like to put an image and deliberately choose something that looks like something else to really throw people off the scent. But
throwing a spanner into works.
And if it is Orky, and if the boot from the Christmas rumor engine is Orky, they could actually both be. I don't know if they've ever done this before. It could be from the same miniature.
Multiple images of the one.
Yeah, that could be the weapon being held by the person who's wearing that boot. Again, I hope that's not true, because if that's not true, it could mean that there's two new things coming to us.
We have the
it's just, I don't know. And like I said before, I just would find it funny that they would blow their load this early and leave not much else to reveal. But that could be wishful thinking on my part. I don't know.
Well, we have our boot here, and what we can see of it is like the ammo crate. We've talked about this before. It's like ammo crate, pretty clearly. Boot. You know, some people are like, oh, it's an ogre, but the teeth on it were like, yeah, that looks pretty orky. And then some people were thinking Death copped it and stuff, but you know, I don't think so. I thought it was a remake of the old Games Day knob. The Gorka Morka knob. That's what I thought it was. That's what came to mind initially.
And obviously there's a lot of talk of a big mech ever since the sort of rules went back into the stuff, and the big mech with KFF is now sort of back sort of being a legal unit. Everything points towards them bringing a miniature out for a big mech KFF, because we know that they don't like having data sheets and rules and things for when they don't supply us with a miniature. But the fact that the points and everything went into the chapter approved, and it's back in there as like, it's legal now to use in tournaments and stuff, would be really like a out of left turn for GW to do not have a miniature to support it, which just goes against everything they do at the moment. So that leans again heavily towards us possibly getting a new big mech with KFF miniature. Which, who knows?
That would be nice.
One of these.
Because I like the game I only played there yesterday. I was using the KFF from the old one. I still have it, and I was using that. So it'd be nice to get a plastic one. It would be.
It definitely
be nice
would.
to get a plastic.
It really, really would.
Something you can do. Do something interesting with. But then there's a load of kits that we need replacing. You know what I mean? And then we're not the only ones. There's quite a few old kits that need replacing. The Tyranids need I'd like to see the Tyranids get a Lictor, but then I'd be tempted too much. But we need commandos and tank busters in a plastic kit. You know what I mean? I'd like them to get new kits as long as they were. Well, see, I don't know, man, because would they update the boys kit and still make it interchangeable? Because that's the beauty of the likes of the looters and such and the borners, is these are still interchangeable with the boys kits.
Yeah.
So I think if they change some of the stuff too much, I'd like to see it still be compatible and kit bashable the way that we have it. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And speaking of bringing it back to Gaz as well, this is a Gaz special.
This is a Gaz special, yeah.
We still don't know this miniature yet, whether he is multi-pose and stuff. I know on Dread's video recently sort of spoke about this sort of slight concern that he's going to be very monopose. I don't have very famous for hating monopose. I've ranted about it on many podcasts and videos. But I have less of an issue with it with characters. I would like poseability with him. And options and stuff, of which they've already vowed that we have got some options. We can have him facing left or right. We've got the options with the smoke coming out of the gun barrels, which I'm so pleased. Yeah. I'm so pleased that's not an option and it's not forced on us, because
I'm so pleased it is an option and it's not compulsory. Yeah, I would have been annoyed. Some people were having a jab, but it's like, are you going to drill the barrels for the Scarniers? Like, these barrels come pre-drilled, mate. Oh, don't need to worry about that.
I like it, because I'm not a big fan of the sort of effects things and stuff of things like that, but I know some people really like it, so it's good that
some people can work wonders with it, and doing OSL with glowing effects off of generators and stuff. But it's a bit much.
I'm already kind of looking at it thinking, do you know what, I might not put them on the gun, I might use them for some sort of smoke effects off a Weird Boy conversion or something
coming out of his eyes.
Yeah. or you could use them out of your exhaust things for your vehicles, because there's a lot of other uses for them if you don't use them on Gazzy. But looking at the miniature, it looks like, even if it's not designed to be multi-pose, it looks like it won't be too hard to be able to get some poseability out of the arm with some minor modifications and things like the Ghazghkull and Morkanaut, like with the legs and the stuff that they've got like tabs which sort of limit their maneuverability, but just by removing those you can get a lot more
out of them. Yeah, it does.
With a very slight. So I think this might be a similar case. If he is monopose, it looks like that it might be fairly easy to make some slight modifications and get some slightly different pose out of him.
I don't know. I'm inquisitive about it. I want to get my hands on the sprue and have a proper look at it, and because I reckon what we might see is people doing what we were talking about with the box out, where it's like they're buying one half and swapping with their mates. So you might see people doing 2 Ghazghkull miniatures, doing one as Ghazghkull and doing the other one like conversion, make your own sort of war boss. I could see a lot of that happening.
Horace Lupercole has just asked the question: have they clarified new Gaz definitely to be plastic, not resin? They haven't specified that as such, but I think that's a safe bet, buddy.
I can hear the tinfoil from here.
They haven't made any new Failcast kits for a long time. I think GW have accepted that was a failure. And I can't remember the last time they released anything in Failcast for a good while now. And I think it's just a case of those things will slowly get updated and phased out, and it'll be a relic of the past, and people will remember the horrible days of Failcast.
God.
Thank God.
The horror. The horror.
And yeah, Velgarn there says all is plastic now. Velgarn, by the way, guys, for those of you that don't know, is the guy that created our awesome artwork of our Two Bald Knobs intro screen and thumbnails.
Yay,
So yeah, he's the guy you can thank for that just awesome bit of art of me and Skarner waxing lyrical. And yeah, very awesome stuff. So thank you, Velgarn, for that. We still use it all the time, and every time I see our thumbnails, I still love them. It's just brilliant. I love how he drew us in our respective clan
Orky attire,
gubbins and war gear, and yeah, it's cool. Dave Dog says I can print better on my £200 3D resin printer than Failcast.
Well, I think this is it. Like, when did Failcast come out? It was like the mid 2000s, 2000. Well, it would have been like 2008, near the end of the 2000s. Like, 3D printing is crazy now. It really is. You can buy like a little 3D resin printer and you could go to town. Like, you really can. You can buy like a 3D printer for like 200 quid, 300 quid, 400 quid, you know, and just 3D print whatever. It's like, oh, I've lost this bit. Print it.
Going to be very interesting to see where that takes us. What's everyone going to do with their old school Gazzies now? There's going to be a lot of them knocking about, isn't there?
Yeah.
I feel like, do you know, a good use of old school Gazzy is use them for conversions to make Gazzy's bully boys.
You could do,
because they're quite big and brutal. He's a bit bigger than the standard Mega Knobs.
Just the yeah. It's a good one. See, I'd like to see. The problem we have is we don't have the Mega Armored War Boss in the Codex. Still annoys me. So, you know what I mean? It makes a good war boss. That's what I was using mine for. I've always used me Gazzy as a Mega Armored war boss. I think I maybe less than a handful of times I've used them as Ghazghkull. Because, I don't know, I've always just wanted a war boss. But yeah, I've always used them as a Mega Armored war boss. But it'll be interesting.
I look forward to seeing the size comparison. I want to see the two miniatures side by side.
All three of them. Do you know when I see all three, it'll be like...
Yeah. Definitely.
You know, it'll be like a chibi at this stage. The one with the horns, then the Torded one, and then this one. That'll be cool. I think I have all of them. I might do that when it comes out.
Yeah, line them all up like Russian dolls.
But I like that they're going back to the old school stuff. Like, they've brought Macari back, because in the 7th edition Codex it was like, oh, Macari's dead, and then it's like, well, actually no, he isn't. Kind of, that was some other guy who was mining the banner.
It fills me with hope. It fills me with hope at the potential of other characters making a comeback, because we've lost so many Orc characters. As each codex comes out, we just keep bleeding characters, and it's such a shame, because some of those characters are really, really interesting. And not to diss on him, because this show is all about him. But Ghazghkull he's just one of a whole host of characters, and yeah, he is the big bad and the big, you know, granddaddy of them all. But there are so many other characters like Nazdreg.
Still banging on about that.
Good old Nazdreg. Let's get him back. Wazdaka Gutsmech.
Old Zogwart.
Zogwart, yes, that would be amazing. Again, a lot of speculation. People saying that pole arm thing could possibly be something to do with him, or a new weird boy or something. Or yeah, it would be great to just get all brand new characters. That would be amazing as well. But yeah, it's good to see that GW are going back to their past and reinvigorating some of these old forgotten characters and things, and bringing them back up to date and stuff. And so it fills me with hope that they might do more than just Ghazghkull. And
there's a lot of them asking for Gutsmech in the comment section.
Yes, I see that. Yes, of course, because he would be incredibly popular now. If they seeing what they can do, seeing what they've done with Ghazghkull, can you imagine how cool Gutsmech would be with his bike of the apocalypse? Would be very, very impressive.
I think so. Yeah,
Especially after October when they brought out all those new buggies and stuff, and having him to lead them would be that'd be pretty impressive. You'd see a lot of Evil Sons and Speed Freak armies then. But yeah, and things like Mad Doc Grotznik, it'd be great to see a new miniature of him, especially as he is so closely tied in with the lore with Ghazghkull and stuff.
And he's currently Failcast. Well, I know. Yeah. Even saying that word sort of leaves a bad taste.
And they're the worst ones as well, aren't they? The worst Failcast kits are the ones that were made from existing metal kits, because obviously originally he was metal, and the ones that they made like a brand new sculpt in Failcast were terrible, but the ones that they recast from metal in Failcast seem to be even worse. And that's another good reason to update him. Definitely.
I agree with you there. So what do you reckon is going to happen with like Ghazghkull going forward? Do you think he's going to try and like go for Armageddon again, or do you think like maybe he might try for something else, or you know what I mean?
It's kind of I don't know.
Because with the Cicatrice Maledictum, and then there's like the fucking Crusade that Gulliman was going on, and then there's like the campaign of the 500 Worlds with like the Death Guard and all this type of stuff. It's like, where do orcs currently fit in the 44th millennium? Like,
well, Gazzy's fairly unpredictable because he gets bored easy. I think he got one of the wars in Armageddon. He kind of just left it to one of his generals. You carry on.
He got a vision and off he went. Off he popped.
He kind of goes where his visions tell him. He kind of just wanders off where his vision tell him, and he lets sort of almost destiny lead the way. And so there's trying to predict what any orc's going to do is kind of where the Imperium falls down a lot, because they just kind of go where their visions take them, or where the wars take them, or where where the good action is and stuff. They have a fairly short attention span, and so trying to predict what Orcs is going to do is a bit crazy. I think what he's doing is he is just at the moment amassing more and more Orcs to his cause, and he is there was talk in. I think
I'm worried he's just going to become like Failbadon the second, where it's like they big up a big bad, and then it's like eventually they just run out of steam.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he spoke about he wants to go and take on the Overfiend of Octavius, didn't he? Because there was talk of there's a quote from him saying, "I might go down there and show him what a real Overfiend is." So there's that. Because there's like a two wars clash in there at the moment. I think he's gonna come in and just sort of smash some heads together and take over that lot. He seems to be just causing carnage all over the galaxy at the moment, including other Orc war bosses and Imperial worlds and everything. So he's obviously got his hands on some crazy like warp technology and something from probably like Orchimedes or Nazdreg or something, because Nazdreg's one of his allies, isn't he? They've allied in the past and stuff.
That's where he got the teleporter technology they did in an alliance. I
always get confused because I know there's some things he got from Orchimedes.
He got so I think he got the technology off of Nazdreg, and he gave it to Orchimedes to build the madness.
I'm sure there is someone in the comment section that knows this stuff.
Super clarified.
Far better than me. There's knowledge all in here, but it's all swirling around. But yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea where this story's going to take him. It's going to be interesting to read the Saga of the Beast, like stories and everything, in the book itself. Because obviously we've still got the book itself to come, which is going to come in a standard edition and a special edition, as they've all been doing. But I'm actually thinking this time I might get the special edition of this book. I've never bought a special edition of a codex in the past, but I might. I know what you're about to say.
I don't even have to say it. We all know.
Mention his name.
Poor Dread. He just wouldn't listen. It was like, mate, don't, special edition codex is just a different cover. Nah. There has to be something else in it. There has to be. There has to be something else in it. It's like, nah, mate, no. At least there's extra content this time.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a lot. I don't think it's a lot at all. I think from what I've heard, all the other ones, they've come with like about 4 short stories in there. It's probably just literally a few extra pages of content of some short stories and stuff, which I don't think are integral to the whole campaign. They're just little extra bits of fluff and lore and that. But the fact that it's got something extra in it like that, and it's got some good lore, which I like. And so, yeah, I may get the special edition one this time. So I'm just looking forward to reading that and reading this battle between him and Ragnar and the campaign itself and what's going on. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, neither of them are going to die. We know that much.
Well, they've sort of both already died, but sort of didn't, so...
I imagine it will be the usual case where... the orcs devastate a lot of worlds and worlds in a system and bring it down to its knees, and I'm sure the Space Wolves would make a valiant stand, and they'll come close to death at some point, but one of them will escape by the skin of their teeth.
I hope
get a bit out of it, but they'll both lose a bit out of it. I'm sure, like nearly all these books and all these stories, it's probably going to end in a stalemate.
I just don't want them to sidetrack it, because the last time we got a box set where it was Space Wolves versus Orcs, it was the Stormclaw box set. And that whole campaign, the Sanctus Reach campaign, it started off and it was like the Orcs were the major threat, but I just don't want the same thing to happen, where they'll sideline it eventually. It was like the first book you got was Orcs versus Space Wolves, and the second book you got, it was like, oh, Chaos Demons come along. It's like, what? Oh. And we got a bit of that in Vigilus as well. Orcs were a big threat at the start of Vigilus, and then
that Vigilus, jeez.
But they keep. This is what I mean. Like, if we're seeing like the Beast arises, I hope it's something that validates that orcs are a threat in the 41st millennium, and they're not just clowns.
We got it with Stormclaw with Grok. They created a whole new character for that campaign, and then later, he's dead.
And he got nailed to a wall.
And now his miniature still exists, but it's just become a standard war boss. And also his miniature is now available as a different named war boss. If you get the one from the Kill Team, the Kill Team Command, he's a completely different character now. He's had a name change and everything, which is really odd.
I've forgotten what he was called. He's Ghazghkull World Killer. There you go. Yeah. So he's.
It's a cool name, but that's not him. That's Grok Face Ripper. We all know it's Grok Face Ripper. But yeah, it's.
Well, let's see what happens, and then I think we need to take into account that there's going to be the Death Watch as well. So, in this episode of the Psychic Awakening, so it's like Space Wolves, Death Watch, and Orcs. And Death Watch, they can be very specialized anti-Xenos. It's going to be interesting. I'll be getting the standard edition, so we might deal with you get a swanky edition, I deal with standard edition. What's the difference, side by side type of thing? We might do something like that. We'll see what the story is, but I'm optimist, slightly optimistic. I'm not on the hype train. I'm just like, all right, we'll see what happens,
I kind of, in terms of, so we talked about this on the show today, in terms of the lore and the story and that, there's this obsession with moving the plot forward and stuff. But again, like I said, the trouble is because this is a miniatures game, you've right yourself in a corner, because in any good story, characters die and it adds a real moment of impact and tragedy and, heroism and stuff in any story, whether it's films or books or anything. They can't do that with this, at least not much. They did it with Grok, but they didn't make it very exciting. It was just a footnote in a Space Marine Codex. But it's obviously, like I said, neither of the characters are going to die. It's like you've had it already with Gilliman facing Mortarion, Gilliman facing Magnus. Gilliman in the lore has faced Fulgrim, and you get them standing off against each other for the big epic climactic battle, thousands of years in the making, and neither of them die. and they just dust their wounds off and come back, and it starts becoming a bit ridiculous. But what else can they do? It's really difficult for them. I don't know I wouldn't know what to do in that situation, how to write it in. I guess the only way around it, you'd have to write in characters and things that you can't get miniatures for, so you've got someone who can die in the stories and stuff. Because what can you do? They had Abaddon and Marnius Calgar facing off recently in the Vigilus, and again, neither of them are dead. You've written.
It's kind of anticlimactic.
It's really difficult, saying, it's like I said before. It's more of the lore is it's difficult. There's no real way around it from what I can see. Because if you kill a character off, then you have to stop producing the model, and he can't be in the game anymore. And obviously, you can't do that unless you just kill a character and then he becomes a Legends unit. I don't know. It's really difficult, and they clash because it's a miniatures game and an ongoing story. The miniatures game is going to heavily restrict the ongoing story, and vice versa. It's a difficult thing. So I think when people ask, "Oh, I need the story to push forward," it's never quite going to go where you want it to go, because they're always going to go, "Yeah, these two big characters came together, they had this big epic clash, and then they both walked away." And it's like, what?
Yeah, it's the build up. It's like a boxing match or whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's all hyped up and press release beforehand. And then when you watch it,
in this case, you see the trailer.
Pretty much, but you know what I mean. It's the same sort of build up, and the tension is built up. And then if it ends in a draw, everyone's like, "What?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want someone to win. It's just how narratives work.
Yeah,
you know
and I mean? Someone might win this one. Gazzy might beat Ragnar down to within an inch of his life, but he ain't going to kill him. He's not going to kill him. Just bought out his new miniature. They have him die straight away. So he might. And again, they try and keep both factions happy, and they've both got to win a bit and lose a bit. It is what it is. There's just no way around it. From what I can say, I don't know how would you make the story go forward with having that option closed off to you, with not being able to kill key characters. Things like Game of Thrones were incredibly popular because you never knew who was going to die at any time. And it's so much to it.
Don't start talking about Game of Thrones now. My God.
But you get my point. It's what made the show so popular. It's like I thought he was like the main character, and now he's dead. And it's suddenly, I wasn't expecting that character to die. They can't do that in 40k, and so it massively restricts their writing and their ability to make a compelling story.
It's not that they couldn't, it's that they invest so much narratively into these characters that they, for them to die off would be a loss to them. It's not that type of setting, really. I think it's like what you were saying before, where it's not so much, it's not a linear story anymore. If we look at the way they set it up with the Cicatrice Maledictum, oh my God, that's a mouthful. It's become fractured now, so like time's fractured, so the story in each sort of sector space is relative to itself. So it's becoming more, it's not the way it used to be, where it's like Abaddon sets off his Black Crusade and then they had to stop it because it was like, well, what the hell do we do now? The whole Eye of Terror campaign, where Orcs actually did a fair bit in the Eye of Terror campaign. There was a whole section of Orc players who went on what was called the Green Crusade with a K, and they just decided to destroy a sector of Imperial space and took it over. But
that was a good campaign.
It was a cracking campaign.
Awesome really codex as well, the Eye of Terror codex. So I had a lot of fun with that codex.
Not much in it for Orcs. Nothing really. I bought it for the
nostalgia. No, I was delving into chaos at the time. I created a Lost in the Damned army and had a lot of fun creating that army at that book. But an army that is no longer around anymore. They killed that army off, which was harsh. But I see in the comments section a lot of people were chatting about this. Sean Hope says, "Stop having key characters, and then anyone could be killed off." True. Orc Stuff says the Arch Arsonist of Caradon is supposed to be hereditary title that's handed down from one warlord to the next. Yes, it is. The Arch Arsonist has been overthrown and replaced several times, and they just take on the mantle of that which Ghazghkull could soon become the arch arsonist because he might come and claim it for himself. Pimpulus says, why is there comparably so little lore focused on the current chapter masters, for example? Why can't I name one important general of Abaddon besides Demon Primarchs? When will Elrond Ultron go away? Okay.
That's
Well, they
probably
did have,
a symptom, though.
they had a world claimer, didn't they? The new character, one of Abaddon's generals, that was in the start of the Vigilus books. Harken World Claimer or something he was called, something like that. The jetpack guy
with the spear.
Yeah. Sort of yeah. Pimpus also says you can totally kill key characters if you have enough of them. Well, we definitely have enough of them, but it's difficult. Like when characters do die, it usually ties in with the miniature range. Unless you just let people play, unless you can kill a character off and just keep them in the game system, and still be, you don't want to have if a character dies in the lore, you don't want to be able to stop using him in your army and stop using him in tournaments. But that, I don't know, they maybe they're interlocked too much, but they kind of do they have to be? I don't know. It's difficult.
It depends. Then if I think you could get away with doing something like that, because it's like you could then play out the scenario where it's a case of this is the battle where Ghazghkull is supposed to be killed once and for all by Logan Grimnar. Let's play this out on the tabletop. You know what I mean? Like historical wargamers do that with specific battles where one side definitely died off.
It doesn't hurt in 30k, does it? Nearly all the characters in 30k are dead, so I guess you know.
And you know, headless Primarchs, but they use them in that setting. You know, so it's I suppose it could be done if it was well written. It could be done, and if the setting was set up for it, it'd be interesting. You know, this is the battle where such and such is supposed to, or this is supposed to have happened. But it's not really that type of. They don't have it set up like that. It's very loose, I think. Like the lore, it doesn't specify very narrow settings for it.
Speaking about the lore and where the story is going in terms of Ghazghkull, who would you like to see him come up against in the current lore now?
Uruk. I like the Uruk Ghazghkull matchup. I know it's physically it's not much, but it's supposed to be like strategy, and you know it's a good narrative that's been built up and a rivalry that's been built up. But I like that personally. But we'll see what other people say in the comment section. What about yourself, Stevo? Who would you like to see him fight? Robot Girly Man?
I mean, that is a big one. Just kick him about a bit would be cool. But I don't know. I'd quite like to see him go up against Abaddon. I would like to see him go toe to toe with Abaddon. I love. We've had a lot of, like you said, in the recent campaigns and stories. You get orcs are starting it off, and they're there causing trouble. But then the real big threat arrives, and it's chaos. And chaos, you know, comes in, and you know, is really the key focus and the sort of the number one arch villain. And I'd like to see that almost go in reverse, where Abaddon's evil plans are that, and almost maybe the Imperium is saved, or at least they think they're saved for a bit, because the orcs just come in and just fuck shit up for everyone, and Ghazghkull just comes in.
Well, they usually do a good job of that.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, we had going into like my brain's gone blank. What's the big bad war boss from warlord from Warhammer Fantasy? What's he called? The orc war boss.
Grimgor Ironhide.
That's it, Grimgor Ironhide. So I loved in the lore when Archaon, the Ever Chosen, the evil, like the almighty Chaos Lord, the Lord of the End Times, and Ironhide comes in and just headbutts him. That's what I want to see. It's just such an uncouth, brutal, disrespectful thing. Just have it, and it's so orky, and it's so brilliant, and it's just like I love to see something like that in the lore. Some mention of that, you know, Abaddon being furious, absolutely furious that Ghazghkull has come in. These idiot orcs have just come in and fucked up some grand scheme years in the making, and pacts with chaos gods and that to bring about the end of the Imperium and the Emperor. And these absolute idiotic brutes have just wailed in and just teleported in on an attack moon or something and just screwed everything up.
Ruined the grand strategy that's been
how
delicately set up.
Yeah, that's how I'd like to see. In answer to the question earlier, that's how I'd like to see sort of Ghazghkull's lore going and that, and maybe it's the Imperium are cheering for a while because they think they're safe, but now suddenly they've got a full-on Orc war, running loose and. But it's
happened a few times. We have a few different votes for different people. So obviously, Old Man Yarrick's gotten a few votes. Imitek the Stormlord, apparently that's a matchup someone would like to see. Seb would like to see him fight Old One Eye. Gilly Guy said the Red Gobbo. Kyle is saying Yarrick or the Black Templars. Yeah, because that's like pretty narrative as well. Yarrick and Helbrick, I think his name is. Daka Donis or Dunis has said exactly that. Have him pull a Grimgore, so just it is adamantine bonds. I'd say that'd hurt. Who else? Yeah, Hellbrick, Ironhide, Gorguts. Want them to fight Gorguts? There's quite a few. It's quite a spectrum of them.
I mean, I would have liked to have seen him come up against another Orc war boss, someone that could sort of pose some kind of threat to Gaz, and because I think that they make Gaz so powerful that they make other war bosses seem quite weak and stuff in comparison. So it would be kind of cool to see some sort of some other war. You don't want anyone to defeat him. In the lore, but someone that can pose some kind of significant threat to him and maybe earn a little bit of his respect. Like we talked the other day about one of his snakebite generals that he beat and had to cut his head off
twice. Yeah.
That's things like that are quite cool. So again, not just Imperium and other races, but because Orcs, they fight everyone. But yeah, it's I think that's where it'll be interesting to see where his lore takes him now, and in this new split in half galaxy we find ourselves in 8th edition and stuff, and see where it all goes. And but let's just hopefully Ghazi is not just a flash in the pan, and they really bring out the high threat of the Orcs and how like they're saying he's calling they're calling it like the biggest war ever. Bigger than
smash something with it. Then you know what I mean.
Yeah,
if it's the biggest war ever, smash something that matters with it.
And
obviously, it's not going to be Terra.
All right. Because the Orcs can be quite a good balancing force because you've almost got these two big sides. The good and the evil, shades of grey usually, but good and evil. And then the Orcs can come in and they can kind of fuck up shit on both sides and sort of level the playing field somewhat and just cause carnage and chaos everywhere. But it's going to lead into a dead end. It's never going to come to a conclusion because it's an ongoing thing that's going to go on forever. We hope, but it's But moving away from the lore and stuff, what is everyone's thoughts on his special rules and stuff and his stats and things? Like I said, I read that bit out at the beginning of this. I'm sure we're not going to get the 2 turns of invulnerability, but there's a lot of talk, and I personally hope this, as a Bad Moon player, that his rules do not just benefit Goths, or that you don't have to run him in a Goth detachment. I would like him to be a special case where he can be an HQ no matter what clan you're running, or whether you're running multiple clans or anything. And I would like his aura abilities and buffs to be able to buff Orcs of all kinds. I think that's really important. If he's going to be the prophet of the War, and he is this massive character that literally leads all Orcs, you have to represent that in game terms. I think that's really important for his rules for this edition.
Yeah, but I think people keep forgetting. I'd like him to be released from the Goth shackles. Like, you have to put him in a Goth detachment if you want your army to be battle forged. But his current buffs work for all Orcs. It's not just for Goths, and I think people keep forgetting that. Unless I've terribly misread it, but I'm pretty sure it's like Ghazghkull, Orc infantry.
never used him this edition. I certainly did forget that. So that's good to know. But like you say, it would be nice to not have to, because obviously you have to have him in a Goth detachment. Now.
So you bring like a Goth detachment on along with your army, and then it's like he can buff all Orc infantry. It's not just Goths, because it specifically doesn't say clan. It just says Orc infantry. So yeah, it'd be interesting. You don't believe me now? Look, I've literally just had the codex in my hand. I'd be interested to see what his gun arm's going to be like. I'd like it to be something crazy, like 46 or something, because look at the bleeding size of it. Like, it's massive.
Yeah, I want lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of shots. I would kind of like it to be fairly short range, actually, because I feel like
like 12 inches or something.
Like 18 inches or something, or 24 tops, because you wouldn't want, if he does fire out a lot of shots out of this, and it is devastating firepower, you don't want people to be using him in a very unfluffy way that it almost becomes an artillery piece or something.
Yeah.
Which I doubt many people would, but it's sort of, the shooting is just something he's doing on his way into crump stuff. I'm hoping it's like at the moment we can have a war gear for our war boss. We can have the dead shiny shooter, which spits out 12 shots. So I want it to be more than that. I want it to be a good amount of serious firepower. That he's still going to have his ballistic skill of 5+, which some people are saying he should have a 4+ or should be higher, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I think a 5+ is fine if he gets enough shots and he's benefiting from Daka special rule.
Some people, no way he gets more than 24.
But you are right. Yeah, and that's so. Yeah, he does currently buff all.
Scarnier was right. It's almost like I recently read the codex.
Yeah. So that's good. Well, then hopefully that will stick. But let's just hope, though. Like I say, it would be nice to be able to just have him lead anything, any orcs, and almost become almost like Abaddon is like. He's blessed with like all the marks of chaos. Maybe something like he gets sort of all the sort of different.
That would be cool. Yeah, if he could join any of the clans, you know what I mean. If you could take him, because like he's led all the clans. He goes from place to place, and he taking charge wherever he pops up. So it's not just that he sticks with just the Goths. I think that would be really good, is if you could release him from the shackles of, the Goth keyword. Just give him all the keywords. There's nothing that says you can't give him all the keywords, you know?
Yeah.
Or give him a special rule that's like keyword Ghazghkull goes anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I want to, I'm interested in how many wounds he's going to have as well.
See, that's the thing. What is it? The
too many means he can be picked out.
He can be picked out. You might have that. Like what's the threshold? Is it 10 wounds?
10 wounds. If it's over, I think if it's over 10 wounds or more, you lose the character sort of abilities of not being able to be targeted in the shooting plays, and that can be it's a game changer. But then again, at the same time, 9 wounds doesn't sound like enough.
I think smart money, I think, would be if they give us like a formation like we got in the Vigilist book. You know, if you're making your dread stomp a mob, I think what would be really good is if they did like a Ghazghkull's Bully Boys formation, where you would get Ghazghkull, you'll take like Mega Armor Knobs, and you'd be able to use a stratagem maybe so that he can't be sniped. Something like that.
Do you know what though? I think it's highly unlikely that he will be under 10 wounds. I think when you look at comparable,
look at the size of him. Look at the bleeding size of him. Like
Magnus and stuff. Now Magnus, I fought against him on the table several times, and yes, you can pick him out freely because he's such a big, imposing model, and he has way more than 10 wounds. But he's hard to kill, so I kind of think if he does go over the 10 wounds, which I think he will. That's fine, but he needs to have. I think he's got to be like toughness 8. I think he's got to be like a properly hard thing to wound. He's got to come with a good feel no pain, a good invulnerable save. He's obviously going to have a 2+ armor save. And yeah, I think so. I think he is going to be targeted easily, but hopefully he's going to be such a tough, resilient fucker that he can tank a lot of these wounds.
This is what people are saying. He's very targetable. Like, look at the size of him. But there's a few people saying, like, Mega Nob shields pretty much 10 wounds, but rerolls for days. Yeah, he needs to have some sticking power to him. I think that's the problem that orcs suffer with a lot. Is we can dish out some damage if we manage to get stuck in, but we're very easily taken off the table, I find. So I'd like Ghazghkull to have some sticking power.
If he was like toughness 8, if he had 2+ save, he's got 4+ invuln save, maybe a 5+ feel no pain. That'll make him pretty damn resilient, you know, depending on how many wounds he's got. I mean, like some of the Magnus, I think, comes with like 18 wounds or something. And I think he's got to be comparable with Primarchs in terms of stat line.
Yeah, look at the size of him. He's probably bigger than Gulliman by the looks of it. If we look like
Mark says 9 wounds would be best with high toughness. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get it though. I can't see it. They're not going to make someone that big and then say, you can't pick him out. You're like the other.
There's no way. Yeah, there's no way.
If I was playing against him, I'd be like, what the fuck? What do you mean I can't pick him out? How can you miss him? So I think at this stage we have to expect a lot of wounds, which is it's not going to be a bad thing. And I think actually tactically you're going to be able to use that to your advantage. Sometimes having a big imposing model that can tank a lot of damage is really good because you want it.
You want to draw all the fire, yeah.
And maybe he'll come with each turn he regenerates like D3 lost wounds or something. There's a lot of characters and things like that get these sort of rules. You know, maybe that would be a nice rule for him to have, that he's maybe he's been patched up so much by the Mad Doc and stuff that, you know, and with orcs healing, and he's such an evolved sort of super orc at this stage that I don't think that would go against the fluff and the lore if he had some kind of special rule where each turn even if he just regains 1 wound a turn or D3 wounds a turn or something. And obviously he's going to be expensive. He's going to be expensive as hell, which I have no issue with.
Are we talking points here or are we talking physical money? Because it might be both cases.
Physical money is going to be very expensive. Points is going to be expensive. I'm thinking he's probably going to be around the 300 point mark. I think he's and I hope he is. I hope he is just like literally comparable with Primarchs on every level in terms of similar points cost, similar stat line, and similar abilities, or comparable at least. I don't know what is he going to do in combat. What is he going to do in combat when he gets in with that claw?
I think Ghazghkull should be able to absolutely tear a knight a new one if he manages to get toe to toe with it.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
He should be able to tear a knight a new one if he gets toe to toe with it. Because like some of the stuff thrown out there, we have a few comments that people are on about, saying like 12+ wounds. This is why I brought Macari up as well. Maybe Ghazghkull's survivability will be tied into using Macari, because we know Macari has like a 2+ invulnerable save, so it might.
And maybe they might do that thing again where he calls a war on a turn, and that when he, like in the old edition codexes, not going back to 2nd edition where he'd be invulnerable, because I wouldn't ask for that because that would be ludicrous. You watch, they'll do it now. Or I think he had in the 3rd edition and for 4th edition, I think he ran through most of it, where when he called his war, he had a 2+ invuln save for like the 1 turn. And I think that would be a very cool ability actually, if he had that in this edition. So literally for 1 turn at a key moment in the game, you call upon it and give him a 2+ invuln save, just to really.
But I think
horrendous, or even a 3+ invuln save or something.
Well, you don't need to. A couple of guys have already said it. It's like Grot shields. Like Macari's a Grot. If Macari has a 2+ rerollable and vulnerable save, and you keep him next to Ghazi, there you go.
Yep, very true. Very true.
It's kind of built in already.
Melancholia says if he can't go 50-50 with Girly Man, he needs a rebalance. Yeah. Macari getting wounds will ignore the 2+ invuln save of Macari, since when such effects are triggered, the receiving model get mortal wounds instead. He should be 3rd edition WoW was great. Yeah, it was a 2+ invuln. And Kurliak says that's why Ragnar beheaded him. Macari wasn't there.
Fair point. Fair point.
Does it mean they're going to take the lucky stick out of the shiny gubbins now, though? Because the lucky stick was meant to be the what was left of Makari's banner, wasn't it?
We'll see. I don't think that. Maybe
we've got a clash because traditionally the lucky stick, ever since Makari's been gone, the lucky stick is the pole that his lucky grot used to wave the banner about, and then the lucky stick's been used as a bit of war gear ever since. So
a banner pole, yeah, something like that. Yeah. Because I remember using that a lot in 7th edition because it was like you got to re-roll, wasn't it? And if you failed 3 times, it was like good luck.
Yeah, that's it.
It was really, really helpful.
It'll be interesting to see as well, Claw of Gork, whether you get... I'd quite like to see with the Claw of Gork 2 different attack profiles, similar to what the Gorkanaut and Morkanaut get.
Like a sweep and a smash?
Yeah, that would be very cool. That'd be very cool. So to give him the ability to wade into an infantry squad and just kill loads of little guys, or pile into a tank and just devastate and rip a great big like chunk out the side of a tank or something. And I'm sure he'll get the ability to throw out some mortal wounds and things. He's got to be terrifying.
I think he's definitely going to be a heavy hitter. I don't know if they're going to give him the capability to wipe out a load of little dudes. I don't know about that, but I definitely think he needs to be able to tear something a new one. He needs to be pretty hefty, like the sledgehammer going in, because it's Ghazghkull. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just don't have him being shot off the table turn 1. Because that would be bad.
Well, it depends if you get the force torn or not. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It really does depend. But some people are talking about power level. Maybe if he's low enough power level, you could use the teleporter on him. If he's under 20 power level,
that'd be brutal.
That might be something interesting. I love how people are already, trying to think to themselves, well, if he has this, then we could do this with the current codex. Different synergies that you might be able to pull off.
What about, speaking of Ghazghkull, obviously that we've wrapped up with Ghazghkull and the miniatures and stuff, and what new miniatures we're getting, but we're forgetting that with Saga of the Beast, we are going to get a whole load of new stratagems and potentially specialist attachments and stuff and things now. What kind of things do you want to see there? I would like to see and I feel like they're going to do this, much like they do with Scar Boys and Ard Boys, give us a stratagem for Ghazghkull's Bully Boys.
I think so. I think that's
End like CP or 1 CP or 2 CP or whatever on a unit of Mega Knobs and turn them into Gazzy's Bully Boys and give them extra nasty shit, being just the absolute his lead henchman that can devastate in combat and stuff. That would be very, very cool.
Definitely. I think that's definitely on the cards. That's like that's a pretty safe bet. It's what else they do with it. Really depends on what they allow you to do with Ghazghkull's Bully Boys. Because like Ghazghkull's used all different types of attacks over the years. I think, in the Third War of Armageddon, he was using rocks as pretty much like weapons and fortresses at one stage. So remember, you could in Apocalypse games, you could bring down asteroids and stuff like that. Like, he's very tactical. You know what I mean? He's full of surprises and bags of tricks. You know what I mean? He's not just thick. He's not just a sledgehammer. He's he's pretty tactical, which is rare in an orc as well. With that adamantium bonds of his. So who knows? Maybe he's got a bit more Beswick since he got his noggin lopped off. You know what I mean? We'll find out.
It'd be cool to see some grot stratagems in this book as well, in Saga of the Beast. It'd be nice to see some stratagems that perhaps not a complete rule change where they just say, oh, the grots can use stratagems now, because that could have they just obviously weren't designed in that way, but give us some stratagems that we can use on our mech guns, give us some stratagems that we can use on our killer cans, definitely, that would help bring killer cans back into the competitive meta.
Basically, don't make grots shit, is what you're saying.
yeah. And grots themselves are far from shit, but like some of things like the killer cans and stuff need a little. They need a little. They've had their points drop, which has helped them a lot, but they're still not great on the table competitively, certainly at the tournament level. But they need a couple of stratagems that you could use on your killer cans would be nice, just to give them that edge and make them a bit nastier than they currently are. Definitely.
I don't know. I don't really. I think the only time we're gonna see grots and cans and such get fixed and sorted will be like if we get a new codex or something. You know what I mean? And hopefully they'll listen to us, because I think quite a lot of the Orc fan base are a bit miffed, even if it's got to do with lore, or because Gretchen are part of clans, or it's got to do with gameplay as well, where it's like killer cans and morale, and just the lack of being able to use stratagems. So you have all these cool stratagems in your codex. Oh, by the way, these units that may be your favorite, you can't use them. They don't get to use them. You know what I mean? That's a bit.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough, and they don't benefit from the clan traits as well. It's really, the amount of times in game that I shoot my mech guns, I'm like, oh, re-roll the ones. Oh no, I can't re-roll the ones with them. It's tough. It is harsh, and it makes things like you're choosing between I have Death Dreads or I'm going to have Killer Cans, and it makes the choice very easy. Death Dreads are so much better than Killer Cans because they get clan traits, they can use the stratagems, and it's really tough. It is harsh. So I think by just putting in a few stratagems in there, because they've got unit specific stratagems, they've got different clan specific stratagems and stuff, so I don't see any reason why this book can't include a stratagem or two for use with killer cans and maybe mech guns, which would be really nice.
Maybe you might see something come from Archimedes, because Archimedes has always been, like, lore-wise, around Ghazghkull. So maybe Archimedes, I could see something being done for, like, dreads and cans and stompers or something. Maybe.
Yeah, there you go. So maybe some stratagems and things for the stompers. Again,
points drop. Points drop.
Maybe something there to help that out a bit, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I'm absolutely buzzing my tits off for this. It can't come soon enough. I am checking community all the time, every hour. Like, give us some more news, give us something. I want to know how much this stuff's going to cost.
Yeah. Price.
When the pre-orders are out. I want to know. I've got money burning up my wallet. It's going to be an expensive time, that's for bloody sure.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I remember the last time you had a lump of money sitting in your pocket ready to pull the trigger on something, and I was like, oh, I don't know, mate, you know what I mean, well, yeah, definitely. I think I'll be getting the Vigilus, not Vigilus, well, Jesus, that's how traumatized I am. I came back again. I'll be getting the Beast that Rises book myself, and then Ghazghkull. But I'm interested to know, like, with people who are watching, is everyone going to buy the book, or are you more interested in just sort of the miniature? Because I know it's like some people are really into playing the game, some people aren't, some people are more into the miniature, and getting the Ghazghkull kit and maybe keeping it the way it is as Ghazghkull, will be doing that. And then other people will buy the Ghazghkull kit and they'll be like, they want to make their own war boss, or they want to do their own take on Ghazghkull. And maybe they're looking at it and going, if I get that kit and I smash a dread into it, you could make some sort of like super cyborg type of stuff. You know what I mean? I'd be interested to see the glut of conversions we're going to see now once this kit comes out. Because even if we looked at the Ambots, when that kit came out, it was like we saw an absolute torrent of conversions, which is awesome, which is absolutely great. You know what I mean? Is it going to be, is it going to be awesome? That's what I want to sort of know.
I think there's going to be probably a lot of people out there that are intending to buy this miniature and not make him Gaz and convert and add. I think one of the first things we're going to see is people extending the barrels of those guns.
Yeah.
It's too stubby. I like the stubbiness of his gun. Actually, I think it looks. I think it looks good. And we've got to remember that Gazzy he's a goth, and he is all about the close combat. And so, he's got a massive gun, the Roar of Mork, which is a cool name as well, and it's awesome. and he likes shooting as much as any other orc, but that's secondary to him. And you got to remember that if you are predominantly a close combat warrior, having something with a huge long barrel on it is not going to be good for your mobility in the swirling combat and stuff. So he's not going to want something with a big tank. So I disagree with the people saying that the gun's too stubby. Actually, it's perfect for that reason, because he's built for close combat. He's just going to daka as he's charging in. You know, he's not really going to stand there and be sniping.
Well, yeah, that's why the Uzi was made. You know what I mean? In close combat,
exactly.
small, little, tiny.
And I think people forget that. They're like, "Oh, the barrel's not long enough. It looks too weedy." I'm like, no, because it's going to be that just get in his way. Yeah, I mean, he would probably use it as a weapon himself.
I'm just clobbering someone with it.
But yeah, I think regardless, though, we're going to see a lot of people extending the barrels on it and adding some plastic hard tubing and stuff to it and modifying it and probably making him even bigger. Yeah, and a lot of people, like you say, like how they used the current Gaz, they will use him as their own character and war boss and replace the head and add bits and change bits, and we'll see him converted into some Bad Moon war bosses and Death Skull war bosses and things, I'm sure. Someone out there, some enterprising person, may even convert him into a Nazdreg.
Dropping hints there, yeah.
Yeah, which would be pretty cool, actually. You could do quite a lot there.
You could do a nice Nazdreg. There's a couple of guys saying a pistol ability for his weapon would be pretty sweet.
That would be if it counts as pistol, that'd be pretty fucking awesome, actually.
It's probably the biggest pistol in 40k, but go for it, man. Whatever works.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Just opening up in close combat. It really is a case of, waiting to see what stats he has and stats, price, points.
I'm actually going to do a little bit of painting while we chat here, guys. Just to
special edition. People are asking about the special edition. So, see, I haven't really been paying attention because I'm like, if it's not orcs, I don't really care, to be honest with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As soon as the orc news comes along, I'm like, oh yeah, you've piqued me interest. So with these Psychic Awakening series, have they been doing this where there's like a special edition one and there's like a standard edition one? Has that been a norm? Like, because I think we need to sort of set this release in the context of what's come before. So when we're looking at the box sets, what have they done with box sets previously?
There has, yes. They've had like I say, they've released like they do pretty much all their books now, a special edition version, which I think is double the price, and comes with the usual, special cover. And a ribbon or something, a page ribbon thing or something, and that's usually all you get. Like the codexes, as Dredd found out the hard way, you just get the special edition cover and a little ribbon, and that's your lot. And you've paid 25 extra quid for the privilege of something that won't gain in value, will not be highly sought after. No one really cares.
No, they always drop in value.
They're not like, it's not like something, it's not an investment. It's not going to, years time, people are highly sought after that special edition codex. But some people I've seen on another YouTube channel I watched, they were talking about this with the release of the last Psychic Awakening book. And they were coming at it from a very negative point by saying, I think it's really bad that they're withholding content from people. You have to buy the special edition to get this content. I'm like, yeah, but then you flip it the other way. If you've bought something special edition, you want something extra, or else what are you paying for? So, it's like, I don't know. But I personally think it's great that the special edition is going to have a little bit of extra stuff in it. And I think it's what they should have always done with the codexes as well, is that you can release the codex, standard edition. If it's special edition is going to be bought by real enthusiasts, real collectors, real people that have a real love for their faction or the army and the hobby, whatever. And those people are people that are very likely to be lapping up the lore and very interested in the lore. So I think it's great that there is extra lore and short stories and stuff in this. And this, like I said, this might be the first time I buy a special edition because of that. But I think it's a good way to do a special edition. But I I still doubt it's going to be worth the extra money you pay, because you are literally just getting a few extra pages of some short stories. But at least it's something.
We'll see in time. I think I've only bought a special edition once, and that was in 7th edition, when I think it was like £100, and you got the codex. Then there was the Ghazghkull supplement. You got that earlier. They released that later on, and then you got like some bits of art, and I still have them here. You get like these sort of objective markers. They're like brass or something, or copper. They were the best thing out of it. But if you're saying, value for money, that's down to the individual. You know what I mean? It's gonna be £5 to one guy who earns 50 grand a year is going to be £5 going to be different value to your man, another guy who earns minimum wage or whatever. It's all relative. So putting value onto stuff, it just depends. As for like lore's a bit of a weird thing for limited editions. I think myself personally, I don't think lore should be, oh, here in this limited edition we give you some lore that the run of the mill codex doesn't have. I think if you're doing special edition, it should be bonus supplemental stuff like art, old school art, or art printouts. So it's like, oh, you bought the special edition, here's 6 art printouts that came with this for this specific run, that you can put them on your wall or whatever, or something like that. Something that's a bit extra, but it's not going to.
I see what you're saying. I think that's down to a personal opinion there.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes they do the same with like computer games and stuff before. Like, for example, I got the Doom 2016 for the Xbox, and I bought the special edition, which rather than coming in a DVD size case, came in a massive fuck off box, and came with a big Revenant. Huge sort of thing which lights up and has a fan going, and he's just cool, and he always stands over my desk staring menacing at me, and that was really cool. But I bought other special editions of computer games and things in the past which come with some postcards and things in there. I'm like, who gives a fuck? Like,
postcards, I think are I think when it gets the postcards for special editions, I think they're scraping the barrel on that one.
Yeah, and you get like various things, and I think a lot of it just turns out to be really gimmicky stuff that is just you don't care about in that. But I think a lot of you've got a lot of it seems almost like a derogatory term. I don't mean it like that, but some casual players of 40k. You've
filthy
got a lot
casuals
of people, that don't care about the lore. Like Idic's perfect example of that. He loves the game and the miniatures and the painting and the playing and the tournaments and all that kind of stuff. He has very little interest in the lore. He really just doesn't. It doesn't do it for him. He doesn't care.
Doesn't float
and I think there's a lot of people that play the game and literally they get a codex. I know a lot of people that have never read any of the stories or the lore in their codex. They just go straight to the data sheets and the rules, and that's all they care about. And so I don't know, I disagree with you on it. I think lore is a good thing, and not to have no lore in a sense.
No, lore is a good thing, but I don't think locking it away, like in order to get this extra bit of the storyline or fluff, you're gonna have to pay. And let's be honest, it's probably gonna be double the price of the standard one.
Yeah, and I think that probably is. I don't know the prices of the ones they've done so far, but that's usually what they do with the codex, isn't it? The special editions are double. Standard's 25, and then the special's 50. Oh, 50 for 25 quid for a different cover
for a few paragraphs. Yeah, but it's story, so it's lore. So can you really put value on story or lore? Because you can bet your bottom dollar that someone's gonna do a video on it, so that lore is gonna be known anyway. So you know what I mean. I'd prefer if it was a physical thing that you had, something that wasn't postcards. you know, something a bit cool like.
It'd be cool to have in special editions. It'd be cool to have sort of the history and stuff of the faction. Like you bought a special edition, it had like a special section in the special edition. It show you like old school miniatures of the Rangers and maybe some old school battle reports from White
showcase.
Dwarf.
Stuff like that.
Stuff that the real enthusiast is going to like. Oh, this is so cool! It becomes almost like a little collector's guide sort of thing, in the back of it. And just extra little stuff that, again, maybe your average player won't have much interest in, really, but the real enthusiast who's willing to lay out that extra money would get a lot out of that extra content.
quite a lot of people in the comments section are saying things like they think it's wrong to put lore behind the paywall, smacks of EA and Activision. Yes, yeah, it's all that's like making the last level of a game DLC. It's a lot of that. Games Workshop, I have finally learned how to be a corporation, so they're taking a lot of cues from the gaming industry, which isn't great. I'm waiting for the loot box expansion to come out for us, or but buy your miniatures in blind packaging. I'm only joking. Don't take it to heart.
They've already doing that, aren't they? With the Space Marine Heroes.
Space Marine Heroes, yeah, in Japan.
There you go.
But imagine you walked into a Games Workshop and you were like, there were blind sealed packages for oh, what are you into today? I'm here to get an Orc HQ. It's like, oh, great, let's see what you got. You know what I mean? Could be a weird boy, could be a war boss. No idea.
I don't know though, mate. If I was in the supermarket though, and you got those machines that are always near the tills at the end, when I'm in the supermarket with my kids, and I was, I'll go on there and get on them, pound in there, but if they had a little machine that popped out like Warhammer miniatures when you're in the supermarket, that probably had some loose change knocking about in my pocket.
I could just imagine you coming along with a big bag of change and just, yeah, I'll be back in a few.
Oh God, I got another bloody pansy.
Yeah, it's like, more scenery for the base.
Yeah, yeah.
Marcus is saying, "I'd send me postcard this Scarnier." It's like, oh God, yeah. cheers, mate. War Boss Luch Snatcher is saying he would love an Orc Chibi. Oh, like the Space Marine one. Yeah, there's nothing. What is it, like pop vinyls or something like that? I'm not really into that sort of thing, but I hear people go mad for them.
I've got one, which is my Alien one.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
and because my favourite movie of all time, I love this, and I love this little guy. And the missus got it for me for Christmas, and I was very specific. I said it has to be this number one, though. It can't be. I said I don't want the one from Alien Covenant or anything. It's got to be the original one. It's got to be the proper one.
If it's not the original, I don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't want one of these like rubbish sequels. I want the proper one. But yes, obviously they've got the Space Marine Primaris dude out, and they said they're going to do more of them. And so when they do an Orc Boy one, he will have to be up on my desk. If they do that, and hopefully they will. I think they have said they're going to do more of those.
We have folks like Setsuna saying, I think special editions should come with exclusive models / upgrade sprue. That's an interesting one. An exclusive model? Well, we know what Games Workshop are like.
Poster would be nice.
They'll. So hold on, you're not happy with postcards, but posters are okay?
Yeah, because a postcard is just a little postcard.
Well, I have to agree with you. Postcards are naff. They are absolutely naff.
If say like you had an awesome artwork on the cover, and if you buy the special edition, you get a big, massive poster of that artwork, or like a big, huge poster of like an orc.
A big Ghazghkull poster.
Can you imagine like you got like double-sided one and that?
Yeah.
But then the trouble is though, you can't do that because it would do the absolute cardinal sin with posters. It would be folded
instead of rolled.
Yeah. And then that's what they do. It'd be folded, and then you just be like, it looks shit. It just look crap. I hate fold lines on posters. It's no. Got to be rolled, and they wouldn't roll it because then it wouldn't go in the packaging. It cost them too much. They wouldn't do that.
But if they're doing a box set, we might get one of the art slips that we get for the thing I've really liked lately when we've gotten box set like Speed Freaks or you've gotten Kill Team or something like that. They give you an art print that's the size of the box. So if we get this Space Wolves and Ghazghkull box set that's being confirmed, we're gonna have hopefully we'll get like a cool little print as well.
I've got the two of me because I've got the Forge Bane one and the Kill Team one up on my wall, and they're both really nice pictures. Trouble is that I've got pictures of Gene Stealers, Mechanicus, and Necrons on my wall, which I would prefer to have orcs on there, obviously.
Filthy.
But yes, I forgot about that. Of course, that would be very cool. And actually, one of them, I think it was the Kill Team one, came with two as well.
Yeah, there was one on the top and one on the bottom. Yeah. That was pretty good. So
yeah, that would be very, very cool, actually.
Pimp Plus is saying, I'd take a short, but I don't like the idea of special editions anyway. I know, yeah, some more Orky shorts would be pretty good. They are rare on the ground. I'm wearing an Evil Sons one myself at the moment. I got from Warhammer.
I thought you said shorts from it.
Short. They're short on the ground. I'm wearing shorts as well, but you know.
What a strange request. Orc shorts.
Can't you just scrape off the fold lines like mold lines? Yeah, use your mold line scraper on the old
Get the iron out on it. Yeah. Get the iron out on it.
It'll work wonders for it. But definitely, I think it'll be good.
But yeah, posters would be a cool thing though. Or like I said, even if it's like A4 size picture in there, in a special edition, that'd be a nice thing to get away. Nice, good picture of Ghazghkull that you could frame and put on your wall. That'd be pretty badass.
That would be pretty sweet. Sean M is saying a custom set of dice for a box set would be nice. Well, this is what I mean. Like, when I actually bought a limited edition set, the thing that I liked the most was the custom objective markers, and I still use them, and it's the thing I got the most use out of. So, like, custom dice, things you're going to use. So, like, custom dice. Maybe if you got, like, custom objective markers. Maybe a dice bag, something, you know what I mean? Extra little peripheral stuff that you're going to use day to day.
Or a dice tray.
Yeah, a dice tray, one of those foldy-outy ones or something like that. Or, you know, a
that could be
tape.
Packaged in with a codex very easily in the packaging. That would be nice.
Stuff you're actually going to use actively when you're playing a game. Because I think some people really love when you're playing a game with some stuff and they're like, oh, where did you get them? And it's like, oh, it was the special edition back in the day or whatever when we got it. So, you know, I think, yeah, that would be a good thing for special edition stuff, to tie in that sort of product with it. That would be useful instead of postcards or folded posters. They've been on the not so keen list now then, Stevo.
Definitely. Folded posters are shit. You can't fold a poster. It has to be rolled up.
Custom dice, yeah. I'd like the divider and the art box sets, but the ones I get are most always damaged. Sometimes that happens, yeah, when they're being transported. The one on the top, the sprue sometimes gets a bit, gets shuffled around and punches through them.
Yeah, which I think is the main reason why they put 2 in the kill team thing, one. Isn't it?
Yeah. I had an issue with the kill team ones where some of the miniatures were damaged in transport. It must have been. I don't know. But the local GW staff were ace. It was the Mechanicus stuff. They just, I brought them in and I was like, look, this has been damaged. He was like, look, some of it looks miscast as well. I was like, I've never seen it before. And he's like, it rarely happens. I think he's been working for Games Workshop like 10 years and he told me he's seen it like twice. So it's pretty rare. But he just gave me a whole new like set of Mechanicus dudes.
And I tell you what, that's one thing both GW and Forge World you can't fault them for, is it? Whenever there's anything wrong in terms, they have a no quibble policy of just boom, we'll change that for you. And so you got they're definitely good on that front, because I know not all businesses are like that. Some can be real wankers with stuff like that. But Games Workshop are great for that. If you ever order anything from them or buy anything and it's slightly damaged, whatever, they will replace it, no questions asked. It's just done.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool like that. Yeah, it definitely is. Like, I had no need for 2 lots of Mechanicus, one of them being damaged, so I donated it to a local gamer, one of the guys I know. I was like, here, look, you can have.
Yeah, that's very cool. If you get to keep the stuff that's damaged as well, because it might only be minor damage.
Yeah. They were like, I was like, well, here, look, they're the sprues. I was giving them to him, and he was like, no, it's all right. I was like, all right, grand. So I just gave it to someone else. I was like, here, look, free stuff for you. Daka Flack of Flame was saying maybe special transfer sheets. That's a good idea as well. That would be really good.
Yeah, if you like using transfers, wouldn't be good for me, but I know some people love them.
Velgarn's heading off. Good night, Velgarn. A button you can press that goes, you can use it to declare charge. A little soundbox keyring.
I like that. That'd be really cool. That'd be so cool. A little thing you can just annoy your opponent with.
Yeah, just like a red button. Just a big red button. Soundbox keyring. That would be sweet.
That would be cool. And it says on the button, "Don't push that button."
Don't push the button.
Yeah.
Flying Ace, me plastic.
You know what they could put in a special edition codex or campaign book?
What?
A data sheet for looted wagon with points.
He's not bitter at all, folks. He's not bitter at all.
Can you imagine the uproar on that?
A laser pointer that makes an orc face. That
nice.
Would be useful. We're getting a lot of good ideas for peripheral
very
products.
Good. GW, I hope you're watching.
I hope there's at least one staffer like furiously writing notes.
Yeah, this is brilliant. This is great stuff.
what products do they want? Like, I like the fact that if you can find stuff that's orky, like the ard cases. I like the fact that they were called ard cases, and it's in like the orky civics style text. So stuff like that, that'd be really cool.
It'd be cool if they made a case like that with it was sort of all glyphs all over it and stuff, and rivets and that, and designed in a way where it looked.
Yeah, something like this. This is the this is the Kill Team transport case, and it's literally just one of their transport cases, the newer ones, and it's done in the color scheme, and they've just got this symbol on the front. So something orky, maybe a bit bigger. Some orky stuff, or even stickers, whatever. We love that type of stuff. So you can stick it on your own goddamn case. Name tags, the whole shebang, man. How about large vinyl decals of clan logos or something? Yeah, that would be cool. Exactly. That type of thing. You go around claiming which ones is the best. Yeah, sheet with like all the clans on freebooters. Because freebooters ain't a clan, I don't care what you say.
Nah. No.
Yeah, there's a lot of them saying orc dice tray. Some people print their own stickers. That's cool. I'd like to make a carry case that looks like a landa and can double as terrain. Do you know what that reminds me of, that idea? Did you ever have micro machines when you were younger?
Yeah. I know the exact one you were talking about as well.
It's called. My brother had a carry case for it called. I know this is going totally off topic, but that just reminds me. It had a play set, and it was called Super Van City, and it was literally it was like a van about this big. Like micro machines were only tiny. It was a van about this big, and it had a handle in it, and it was literally like the case, and the wheels worked in it as well, and you could fold it out and do something cool with it.
Yeah, that was one cool ass toy. That really was.
Yeah, that was absolutely sweet. A decal would be nice. Yeah, see, decals, stickers, guns and fungus. Some badges, some pins. You know what I mean? I've been to Warhammer World a few times myself, and I've only ever seen one Orky pin, and it was like the do I have it on hand here? I don't know if I have it on hand. I used to put it on my bag when I worked in London.
Dice towers.
Dice towers? Well, yeah. I never use a dice tower. I suppose, yeah, but you know.
Neither have I. I've seen some interesting ones that people have made. Dice towers that double up as scenery, and I've seen orky ones done. So it's a piece of scenery, but you roll your dice through it, and it comes out. So.
Has someone converted a stomp it into a dice tower? I think somebody's done something like that.
Mate, you'll be hard pushed to find something that orc players haven't done.
To a stomp it. It's like anything's an improvement, to be honest with you. Don't worry about it. Anything's an improvement. Guns and Fungus CD would be fun. He had that. Coil got there was the Cromlech did the whole promotion during October. Fair play to him. Bubble gum tattoos with clan symbols. As quite a few of them had that set as well. Kyle said he had that set. A few of them, like, I loved Micro Machines when I was a kid. Definitely, they had the same.
Micro
quite a few.
Rock, man.
They were great, man. They were great. Valid point out from Sean saying it's hard to roll 120 dice through a dice tower.
Yeah, hence why someone made one out of a stomper. You need a big one. Either that or really small dice.
Just a funnel. Just funnel it. A lot better. Oh, we won't go into that one.
What was that?
You'll know when you see it. If GW did
Is it the
empty
dartboard one by any chance?
terrain, I know it's a funny one, but I just didn't want to because I know some people will just start kicking off. They'll start ranting. They'll be like, oh, blah blah blah. Wah, keychain, yeah, keychains as well. I have one of the very few Orky keychains that were made, and it was from the Silver Skulls, the Orc Ed, pretty much. I got that off of a friend many years ago, but that's lead. It's cool when you get stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, some Orky keychains. You know what I mean? All this bonus stuff that we could get. But I find a lot of people are pretty creative. They do a lot of stuff like that. Navani's asking, does Ghazghkull have any good histories with Stompers? Ghazghkull himself specifically? Not off the top of my head.
Well, I know like I say, he allied with Nazdreg, who was churning out all kinds of stompers and things. And I'm sure, I'm going off memory here, so it was a bit hazy. It's in the codexes and stuff and things. That's where they started teleporting. Like, didn't he like teleport a Gargant down to a planet or something? And just, yeah. So yeah,
I
mean,
Archimedes was
got history in terms of obtaining them for part of his horde. He's probably amassed quite a lot of them. And got his mechs and stuff to build them for him. And like I said, he allied with Nazdreg for the very purposes of getting his hands on technology and vehicles of war and things like that. So yeah, he's got history in terms of that. Like I think most successful war bosses have, because as they get bigger and stuff, they naturally start making these effigies to Gork and Mork and creating these Gorkanauts and. They usually start off by making Death Dreads and cans and stuff, and the mech ambitions grow more and more, so they want to build these huge effigies and that. So
that's what happens with a lot of vehicles as well. It's like it goes from a truck, and then they stick enough armor and tracks on it, and it becomes a battle wagon. And once a battle wagon gets enough turrets and gets wider and more converted, it slowly becomes a battle fortress.
And the way Gaz is going, mate, yes, soon he'll be comparable to a Stomper, because he's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. His armor, he is effectively slowly turning himself into a bloody Stomper.
Dave was saying he thinks GW has a problem with card suppliers. They do limited run, say on the Necromunda and Blood Bowl cards, and they never reprint them. Some on eBay from a year ago going for £100 a pack. Necromunda, if you didn't pre-order cards from their site, you would never get the cards. I think that's a sales tactic mostly, Dave. They don't want any surplus stock, so they'll do limited runs. And once people know that stuff's limited runs, there's the FOMO kicks in, so your fear of missing out. So where you might be of half a mind to buy something if it's available any of the time, once you know that it's on a limit, it's not going to be around for long, you're going to pull the trigger straight away. I think that's
they do it a lot, don't they? They do like special games day exclusives. They do special one day only store exclusives. They do stuff like that a lot.
Stuff like that. But I can understand the sentiment where it's annoying for game aids, so like cards, that type of stuff that you need to play the game. And they're like, oh, but you can get it in the rule book. But it's like, yeah, but it's easier.
It's shit. Yeah, using stratagems out of the rulebook's crap.
Yeah, it is. It really is. You need, you make life easier for you. You need a card set.
Yeah. I say to anyone that the stratagem cards are always a wise purchase, because flipping through the book, once you've had a go with the cards in game, you never go back to using them out of the book. It just feels really rubbish after that. It makes things so much easier in game.
World War One Flying Ace said the Gargant that almost killed Grimeld was called Godkiller. Is that the one you're on about? Oh, that's you're on about Hell's Reach. That's on Armageddon. Maybe. There's been quite a few. There's quite a lot of them. Navani was saying, since this is a Gaz special, I thought I'd ask a Gaz question. Ask all the Gaz questions you want.
Yeah.
And Orc lore.
If I can't remember, I have hosted.
He has the books to hands. Oh, look who's shown up with his Necrons. Have a guess. Good old Uruk. I fought against Necrons yesterday, Uruk. I lost victory points, but I gave him a good crump and I got his Warlord in the end. Had a great game. All this I'll be back stuff. Get out of here.
I'm still painting, Nick. I'm still painting. I'm working towards that deadline, buddy.
He's chipping away. He is absolutely chipping away. Sean M is saying the cards are great because if it's on the table, you don't forget you used it. Yeah, it's handy for stratagems. And I like to take out the psychic cards that we have to remind myself, and then I like to take out the stratagems that I know I'm going to use during the game. And then,
I put a lot away that I know I'm not going to use.
I'm not going to use,
ones you're intending to use out, and it's just it just speeds it up, makes it so much easier.
And then you're drawing your objectives, and so instead of writing down, oh well, I rolled this objective this turn and that one, you know what I mean? It's easier just to draw them out. Navani saying, I painted some Immortals the other day. This is a Ghazghkull special. Enough of your Necron shenanigans.
Yeah. Look, Nick turns up and he
I know, look at him.
Turns up, kicking off, disrupting everything. Tell you. God, anyone would think he's the head of the unification or something.
Gilly guy saying, would like a ruler that counts the 5 and every measurement is loads. Yes. That's genius.
That is cool.
Uruk saying, Stevo, Uruk saying he's upping it to 1500 now.
Piss off, Nick. Right, I need something big and expensive on points.
Oh, stop it. There you go. You're way over the points limit then. Stop it. Big Mac Dansko's joined with a wow. What's the crack? Hey. Big Mac, what's the story, bud? Have you been dealing much with the orcs yourself?
There's someone who'll be hoping Mad Doc Grotznik gets a new miniature.
Oh, yeah, because he's a filthy deaf school, isn't he?
Well, allegedly, I don't see him touching his orcs much these days. Allegedly, he's a Death Skull player. I have seen very little proof of it lately.
I can't talk. I really can't. Mind you, I'm building a big mech, so I've got a shock attack one in the works. I'm building myself a big mech, but I've lost the head off the grot. I only have 7 orc models left to paint, so I had to slow down the fun. Just buy more orcs. Like, we're literally about to get the Psychic Awakening for Ghazghkull, so, Yeah,
if you've run out of stuff to paint,
and he looks pretty sweet.
Because I have a lot more than 7 to paint. It makes me want to cry sometimes.
So that's the original one there, back in the old days. That would have been Chambers, wasn't it? Andy Chambers.
Yeah.
So this is where Ghazghkull originated from. Is Andy Chambers made a war boss, and Ghazghkull was his war boss. So if you're ever wondering who invented Ghazghkull, it was Andy Chambers. And where his name comes from, because I actually asked Andy Chambers on Facebook, his name comes from the Black Tongue from Lord of the Rings, which is orc speak. So the
black speech of Mordor.
Yeah, the black. It's not. I think the black speech of Mordor is something different. I think this is like the orcish tongue, like the orc. It's called Black Tongue or something like that. And his name's pretty much like something metalhead, whatever. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to dig up the post I had. But that's where he originates from. Is from Andy Chambers' army. There was a 2nd edition.
Where does his name not come from?
Oh, he is not named after Margaret Thatcher. I did ask that. There's a rumor out there. He's like, he's named after Margaret Thatcher. He is not named after Margaret Thatcher. He never has been. That's a filthy rumor, and you should slap anyone who says it to you. Okay? Tell them Skarner said I could slap you. Don't be physical with anyone. This is sarcasm. This is what sarcasm looks like. In case you're wondering what sarcasm is and you're not really good at detecting it, this is it right now. Sarcasm.
Getting all the disclaimers, and you've got to be so careful what you say.
You have to explain everything.
Yeah, Skarner does not endorse violence unless it is in tabletop
Unless
gaming form.
unless it's on the tabletop, then it's all the violence. And I mean,
That
between
doesn't mean you can
the
lay someone out
miniatures.
on a table. You can't reach across the table.
Exactly. Don't be throwing dice at people. Don't be picking up your miniatures and throwing them at each other.
Don't be throwing your metal Ghazghkull at someone's head, because you will kill them.
He won't be metal for long, though. He'll be plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Soon enough. Soon enough. Isn't Zogwart a snake bite? Old Zogwart is indeed a snake bite.
He was a snake bite, but he then became a freebooter. He was kicked out. He was kicked out because his psychic powers were making too many important orc heads explode and stuff. And he now travels he travels around hiring his services out.
That's because he's a bad duck, wasn't it? I'm thinking of my brain. There's so many characters we're talking. It's like, hold on, old Zogwart. No, he sort of wandered off and did his own thing. Mad Doc Grotsnick was kicked from his original Death Skulls warband because he started experimenting on them too much. So he went from he became what they call a bad doc. They're guys who go a bit too far. They go a bit Dr. Frankenstein a bit much. You know, you'll go in to get your arm reset and you'll come out with a squig brain transplant and a few other bits and pieces, maybe a set of iron lungs and all of your teeth missing. You know what I mean?
It'd be very interesting to see what they could do with Mad Doc Grotsnick, wouldn't it? Just in terms of the miniature and that.
Yeah, because he's supposed to. Mad Doc Grotsnick's supposed to experiment on himself.
In a sort of an orky version of a lab coat and stuff, and be like, it would just be very, very cool. Very cool indeed.
I'm sure he'd be juiced up to the nines now because he does. That's supposed to be like one of the things about him is he operates on himself, so he'd probably be hench as hell, like, you know what I mean? Like if you give Ghazghkull,
he's very unhinged, isn't he? And
he's
very,
another like
he's uncontrollable on the table. You know, he's got to charge towards the nearest unit and stuff. He ventures off on his own, and I think he's got a big for his boots as well because he's protected by Gaz, isn't he? He's kind of people know, you know, don't mess with him. He's almost like the prison cellmate of Gaz that walks around holding Gaz's pocket. You know.
Just depends. Sean Hope is saying there were 2 models of Thraka with horns. One had a Macari, one Thraka without horns. I think it was just a knob, and one with mega armor, and now one with mega dread armor. Yeah, so that's like the 3rd edition one. There's the 2nd edition one before it. And then I think Rogue Trader Styly was, originally what's his face, Sandy Chambers' type of one. People are like taking the piss. Sarcasm. What is this thing you speak of? Sarcasm was one of those filthy blood axe tactics, right? It's like, don't think about it too hard. It'll be grand. Just trust us on this one. You know what I mean? Filthy blood axes. Trust us on this one.
Yeah, we won't use your own vehicles against you. We promise.
We promise. Honest, Gov. Orcs were saying there was one who used to put bombs in his patients' heads and set them off for fun. I think that was Grotsnick. Yeah, that was Mad Doc Grotsnick.
That was, yes.
Everybody, it was after he did Ghazghkull's bombs. Yeah. Everyone wanted a Ghazghkull special. And he was like, all right, I'll give them all adamantium skulls and I'll put explosive craniums in. And it was like, well, fair enough.
Yeah, I think he found it useful because the orc with the said explosive in head would become a lot more controllable and would follow orders a lot better.
Susceptible to his suggestions, shall we say.
I mean, Grotsnick's been patched up himself a bit by his own grots as well, hasn't he? He's been on the receiving end of a few close calls and that, and he's been patched up by his own grots, which have dragged him back to the lab and worked on him and got him back to, almost as good as new.
Well, we have to be grateful for him. He put Gazzy back together.
Yeah.
I'm like, Ragnar chopped his noggin off. I'm like, all right, so Ragnar is a beast and Ghazghkull's a beast. So I wonder what their matchup will be like, fighting against each other from the box set. But definitely, I think I'll be buying at least one box and seeing how it goes from there. It all depends on the price point. I'll be interested in the points for Ghazghkull, and then multiplayer.
I feel like this box set's going to be similarly priced to the recent Elder one.
That was steep though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But I feel like this is going to be, because like I say, you price of Mega Knobs, the price of Gaz, is not going to be cheap.
Well, this is the thing though.
The price of Ragnar ain't going to be cheap, and you're going to get some kind of. It'd be interesting to see what. I imagine it's going to come with like booklets. I don't think you'll get the actual I don't think it'll come with the Saga of the Beast book in it. Will it? It'll come with like a little
something that tied you, tied you over and keep you going. I don't know. Like when I'm looking at that box set, the only things I'm really interested in are Ghazghkull himself, Macari, and then I'm like, Mega Knobs are a happy extra. Like you've said, for more established players, you probably have knobs already, and you've probably got spares. If you're new to Orcs, and you've got a mate who plays Space Wolves, you are sorted, mate. You are absolutely sorted. Go halves. You're getting a better deal. You're getting a way better deal. Just go halves with your mate, and go from there. Or see if you can get a swap. But I don't know. I'm looking and I'm thinking that Space Wolf stuff isn't amazing. Like, you know what I mean? It's not.
I think Ragnar looks really cool. I think they've done a really nice job updating him, and he's a cool character and he looks cool. I think Space Wolf players would have enjoyed the set a lot more if you had close combat Space Marines, like Primaris Blood Claws, are they called?
Yeah, Blood Claws are the close combat guys.
And so if you had all the Primaris dudes with bolt pistols and chain swords, and maybe like the sergeant had like lightning claws or power sword or something, or frost blade, it would be much more Space Wolfy, because just having
they're very generic. Are they even? Yeah. Did they even have any like specific Space Wolf markings? I don't think they do. It's just like the paint job. But this is what I mean. Like, as the Orc player wanting to trade that other half of the box away, I'm a bit disappointed in the context. Let alone the Space Wolf players. I'm sure I'll be like, I'll swap you half, or I'm selling this half of it, and people will be like, no, I just want Ragnar. I don't give a crap about the Primaris. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of Orc players might be stuck with the Primaris Infiltrators set. I don't know. I
think they'll sell. Marines. I mean, there's so many people that collect Marines. I think if you stick them on eBay, they're going to sell, and you're going to get some decent money for them. But Ragnar himself, you stick him on eBay, if he's exclusive to just this set, and there's going to be a lot of Space Wolf players that just want him, like you say, he'll sell. You'll recoup a bit of money off that, and. But I don't have that issue because, like I say, I play with a Space Wolf player who is going splits with me on the box, so that's what we're doing. And I think that's the kind of advantage of our set being Space Marines as opposed to another faction. There's going to be very easy to find someone to go splits with. I think.
There's always someone you can go splits with.
No, I guess if it had been Uruk and Imperial Guard, it would have been a lot harder to find someone willing to go splits.
We don't know. I think a lot of people like Uruk.
A lot of people do. There's a lot of people out there. It's just no one in my immediate circle of gaming group plays as Imperial Guard. So for me, it would have been harder.
Our Treo Williams is saying the other box set for Psychic Awakening did come with the book, though. Oh, well, that would...
Oh, okay. It came with the actual... Oh, okay. So, well, if that happens, then maybe I won't be buying the special edition, because if it comes in the bloody box...
Sean M saying he plays both armies, you're sorted then, mate. You're laughing all the way to the bank. Unless, they make your wallet cry. It all depends on the price point, man. Sean Hope is saying, I don't think I'd get a 50-50 split. It will probably be like 70-30. It depends. It all depends on the price, and then we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think the box set's a lot more in the Orc favour if it's got Ghazghkull, Macari, Mega Knobs, and normal Knobs. I think, established Orc players aren't going to really care about Knobs. More Mega Knobs? Yeah, that'll be good crack. Vanny is asking, do you have to buy special Space Wolf upgrade kits, shoulder pads and such to get your Marines Space Wolfy? I think with these infiltrators you might have to.
Which they do have out, don't they? There is a I know they had it in one of the sets or something recently. There is a Space Wolf upgrade sprue for Primaris. I know that. which adds a few, wolf pelts and, symbols and a couple of heads,
shiny gubbins,
shoulder pads and whatnot.
Yeah, the peripheral stuff. Sean Enham is saying Blood Angels and Dark Angels will be crying bloody murder if Space Wolves got Primaris chainsaw wielding assault troops.
Yeah. Yeah, there's I think that's the flaw with the Primaris stuff at the moment. They're very focused on the firepower and stuff, and they do need a bit more of those assault-based things, which I think they will get in time. This is only it's only the start of Primaris. They're going to basically replace the entire Space Marine range by the end, aren't they? Space Marines are being phased out, guys. Make no mistakes on that. The standard ones, mini Marines. And it's all going to be Primaris in the future. So, and they will bring them out eventually. But yeah, I just think it's a shame in this box that they didn't do it in this box. I know the guy I'm splitting it with is upset because he was hoping that it would come with Ragnar and Wolfen.
That would have been interesting. It's something more Space Wolf, like definite Space Wolf. You know what I mean? Clarkson's arrived way at bloody last. YouTube tells me you went live. Granted, it was 2 hours late, but at least you're still live. That's true. We have gone over the 2-hour mark, Clarkson. Yeah, thanks for reminding us. But the notifications off of YouTube tend to be absolutely bleeding shocking, is all I can say. No matter if you put in notifications, all of them. The amount of times I've got notifications.
I know it'd be a Ghazghkull special, and we've talked about everything else, Saga the Beast, lots of other stuff. But I think we have covered. We've talked a bit about his lore, haven't we? We talked about some of his old school.
Talked about his lore, where he came from, his origins, his kit, what we're hoping for out of the box set. I think we've covered quite a lot. It hasn't been super in depth, but if you don't really know much about it, I'm sure we pointed some people in the right.
We could have gone a super in depth, but we would have been doing a lot of this. Hold on.
Books. Hold on. I'll check that paragraph.
It's in this codex on this page and this thing.
People are saying Dedicated Gamer said it will probably come with the upgrade sprue. This is in reference to the Primaris Space Wolves. Clarkson saying, and yes, in the Space Wolf Primaris set there is an upgrade kit. And he's also saying, anyone feel the quad big shooter is a little big to OTT even for Ghazi? It's a big gun arm, but it's gun arm / club / lots of DACA. I think someone's already mentioned as well, it's like the casing calibers are totally different to the size of the boreholes on the actual gun. It's hilarious.
Hence, probably it's short range and lots of it'll just spit them out in any old.
Well, yeah, it doesn't so much shoot bullets as it just.
Let's remember, it's Orky. It's probably filled with rocks.
Whatever, as long as it kills stuff, that's all that matters.
But yeah, we better bring this to a close, guys.
Better wrap this one up. Yep.
Over.
I have miniatures to build, and God knows I don't want to be building a knife while I'm streaming. That won't end well. Levels of concentration.
I have rockets to paint, so yeah. But guys, we will see you on the next one. I know that there's quite big gaps between these two Bald Knops episodes. We get them out as often as we can, and I'm sure with all the Saga of the Beast stuff, I'm sure we'll do another one when it's released and we've got our hands on it, and maybe we'll do a special sort of review of the book and the miniatures and share our thoughts. And how do you feel about that, buddy, that we do that similar to what we did with the Codex? Maybe not like 4 hours long this time, but we
could do that. Yeah, something that not 4 hours long. We'll go over, I think,
but we won't read it page by page like we did before, but we'll go over it and we'll share our thoughts and talk about it and discuss it, and you guys can come and join us. You'll all have your hands on it as well by that stage, I expect, and we can talk about what we think of it all and and
combinations and stratagems we have and what we'll think of points. Yeah, I think we'll definitely do a read over review, but we won't read it there.
If we'll do a 24-hour stream, no, the missus would kill me. And 20 hours of that, you'd hear me yelling at the kids, telling them to shut up because I'm trying to stream and stop making so much noise.
Maybe on Twitch, not on YouTube.
Well, we'll see you on the next one, guys. But for now, this is 6+ Stevo signing out.
Take it easy.